Listen, the purpose of the Class B is that you're not really like living in here.
Right.
It handles like my truck. We're doing 65 or so, no problem. That's kind of it, can be an issue with Class B. There's just not enough room.
I probably banged my head like 50 times this trip.
So going from a 37-foot motorhome to a 17-foot Class B van, in this video we're going to talk about what have we learned.
So number one, and man, this has been great. It's ease of travel for a number of reasons. So number one is packing. Now, we have a 37-foot motorhome. We can pack a lot of stuff. We're on 17 feet right now, which is smaller than Izzy's truck. There's not a lot of room to pack things. Now, they do a great job on this van of really kind of giving you a lot of different storage spaces. So you can see this whole area here, this is all drawers, storage drawers, okay? So a lot of places to put even underneath. There's little hidden drawers, but you're not fitting what you're fitting on Nelly. So for example,
You bang your head.
I probably banged my head like 50 times this trip. We each have one cabinet, so we put our clothes, minimal amount of clothing, which is great. But again, it's good because it keeps it easy. The next thing is parking. Talking about ease of travel, we've gone to the gym, we went to restaurants, went to other things, literally parking anywhere. We parked on the street, right on the curb. It was really, really cool.
You don't have to tow a vehicle with you.
No.
No,
So,
you have everything right here.
That was the next thing. You just get up and go. We're not even plugged in because of all the lithium and everything this thing has. We don't even need to plug in.
No.
So we literally just go. We turn the key and go. And that, I gotta tell you, I'm loving that.
But before we move any further, this video is sponsored by campgroundviews.com. What is campgroundviews.com? Essentially, it is like a Google Earth for campgrounds. So you can go on, do virtual tours from the comfort of your home of hundreds of campgrounds around the country. They're rapidly expanding. Their ultimate goal is to cover all campgrounds in the US. So you can go view the campground, view all the sites, the amenities, and you can actually book your site right from campgroundviews.com. And if you use the discount code EndlessRVing, you're going to save 10% off your membership. It's pretty awesome. We have it. It's pretty great. We think it's the future. If you're looking for the perfect campground and you don't want any surprises when you get there, check out campgroundviews.com. Number two is going to be the drivability. Like MJ said, 17 feet. It's on a Ram 3500 ProMaster chassis. It drives like my truck. It handles like my truck. We're doing 65 or so. No problems. This one has a little bit of a lift on it, but it's really not an issue. Now, that's not to say that Nelly doesn't drive well. Also, actually, I was talking to MJ. I said, you know, this drives really well, but our 37-foot motorhome drives really well too because of the suspension upgrades we have. But for the average like if you're going from a Class A gas or a Class A diesel, just as the size, the width, the length, this is just way easier to drive. Like anybody, if you drive a car, you can just hop in and drive this with no problem. All right, so the third thing is going to be space. And now we just talked about the advantages of having less space, but for us, this kind of sucks. Because listen, we're not small people.
No.
I'm, 6'1.5". MJ's like, almost 5'10", and it's small. There's just no way around it. If you're like above average height, it's definitely tight. I banged my head a couple of times. MJ's banged her head a couple of times.
A lot of times. But I always bang my head anyway, but extra banging going on in the, well, that didn't sound good. But anyway, you get my point. But my head, even when I'm standing, you can see, so I'm 5'9". I mean, I don't have much to go, but I'm fine walking through here. But you just feel it like climbing into the seats and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely tight.
It is tight.
Listen, the purpose of the Class B is that you're not really like living in here.
Right.
What you're doing is you're getting to your destination, going out and about. But the time that you are in here, it's tight. Like, I don't know how people do this. Like, I think 2's the max.
Yeah.
Even 2 feels tight. Like, if you have dogs, kids, I don't know how you do
Maybe
this.
a Yorkie. I mean, 2 60-pound pit bulls are not functioning.
It's not even,
Class B.
yeah.
If you have a Class B, guys, and you fit more than 2 people or whatever, put it in the comments. I would love to hear from other people that do this full time and how they manage.
Number 4 is going to be fuel. Compared to our motorhome, this thing sips fuel. This gets about 15, 16 miles per gallon. Unleaded gas, easy to fuel up. It's literally right here. You pull up to the fuel station, like you're not looking out the window and maybe trying to line it. I mean, it's super simple. The other thing is, especially with this van, this is not modified the exterior. If you want to have this service at your regular Dodge Ram dealer, it's just a ProMaster chassis. There's no modifications on this. Again, it's going to be very easy to get into a service center versus if you have like what we have, really not as simple. All right, the next thing is going to be, this one's kind of important, is going to be holding tanks. Gray, black, fresh. That's kind of can be an issue with Class B. There's just not enough room. So for example, what we have behind us is a 30-gallon freshwater tank. That's okay. It's not too bad.
Right.
You can get, if you're frugal with your water, that can last you some time. You don't have a black tank. You have a cassette toilet. I don't know how much that holds, maybe a gallon of pee. I'm not quite sure.
No, a little more than that.
And then your gray tank is only, it's 10 gallons, that's it. When you have a B, you're usually taking advantage of outside resources, right? You're showering at a gym or wherever you can. This is only kind of an emergency.
Or showering in like a river or a lake somewhere.
Whatever.
Right?
Like with ours, with Nellie, you know, we were 5 days non-hooked up. We were good.
Yeah.
So, you know, those things, it kind of depending, again, what type of camper you are, what kind of adventure you're looking for, that's something that we learned right away. I'm using the showers at the campground. All right, and the next thing is going to be roads and accessibility to those roads. Now, with a Class B, you pretty much are accessible to almost everything.
Right, we mentioned earlier about parking on, on the street and things like that.
But not only on the pavement, a little more off the grid. Something like this is front wheel drive, but there are 4x4 ones available out there, and a Mercedes has a 4x4 chassis. Yeah, you can, not like crazy off-road, but you can kind of go where our Class A is not going.
Right, and especially state parks, county parks, and things like that. We're actually looking to book this summer in a couple places, and most of them in New Jersey we can't even get into for a weekend because we're just too big.
With that being said, these are still costly. Class Bs are going anywhere new, of course. 150, over 200,000, we've seen them, quite a lot of them. You know, it's still kind of costly.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change. So with all these things that we learned, staying in this, would we ever get a Class B? I mean, there's a lot of things we love about this. We really do. But I think the size probably
is an issue.
Would be the number one thing that would keep us from getting one, at least at this point. I mean, they're great to have, I think, if you're going to a lot of state parks, you're out on the road a lot, but with the type of camping that we do.
But even with that, like if you look at like an Airstream Atlas that has at least that one slide, it gives you a little more. This is really tight, tight.
Yeah, for our size bodies, again, because we're just so tall, we're definitely feeling it.
Yeah, so in the comments below, let us know, are you an A person, B person? Did you like flip back and forth? Let us know in the comments below why you drive what you drive. And if you want to know anything else about Class A's or Class B's or just RV tours in general, we're going to put some videos over here. And for myself and MJ, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the road.